Thank you for staying with us. Now I'd like to ask Regina if she can tell us the differences between dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, all these diseases, because I think that a lot of us aren't really sure about it. We just think that they're all the same thing, or I think people may know Parkinson's more than they would know dementia and Alzheimer's. So would you mind kind of going
Yeah,
through some of them for us?
yeah. So dementia is the big term. It's more of an umbrella. It's the syndrome, and whereas Alzheimer's is the symptoms of the dementia. So,
Right.
like dementia had under the umbrella, you have the Parkinson's, the Alzheimer's, and the reason why they use interchangeable Alzheimer's and dementia because Alzheimer's is the largest of the dementias.
Okay.
And so, and basically when you say someone has dementia, you're saying that they have problems with their memory, significant problems with their memory and their cognitive abilities. When you say someone has Alzheimer's, it's a type of dementia. So, so then there's dementias with frontal temporal lobe. Alzheimer's usually starts with short memory first. They have, each of them have their own patterns of difficulties. So Alzheimer's has the memory, starts with the short-term memory, then frontal temporal dementia, which is up here and back here. And so most of those are starting with challenges in behaviors. Those are personality challenges. And so this is the one that most people think that they're mad because their personality changes quite a bit with this one. Eventually the memory will happen as the disease progresses. Parkinson's is known out here a little bit more. Parkinson's syndrome doesn't necessarily mean that you have dementia, but dementia can come at towards the end of the disease. More people with Parkinson's do have dementia, but not all of them. And Parkinson's usually have symptoms with movement. They start off with symptoms with movement. Let's see, then we have...
That's the one that Muhammad Ali has.
Yeah.
So, because a lot of people don't understand, they think it affects his body and his mind, but it isn't. He still has that bubbly personality and so on and so forth, but his body movements are restricted.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, and also with Parkinson's, they can have some hallucinations and things like that.
What about speech with Parkinson's?
They can have some problems with speech, yes. They can have some problems with speech. Like I said, the tremors, they can have problems with walking. Now, each person has experiences the symptoms different, so it's not an exact, but there's a general for them. And so some of them are hard to diagnose or get them accurate. Lewy bodies, abnormal proteins called Lewy bodies is what triggers in with Parkinson's.
Okay.
And so, and then there's also a Lewy bodies dementia, which is on its own, which has been missed a lot too. So,
So which one would you say is being missed the most?
I would say all of them are, because half of them aren't even diagnosed with even the dementia. You must have two parts of your brains to fail that are dying to even have a diagnosis of dementia. I find that most of the times when people are kind of just sloughed off as, oh, you're just having a little bit of dementia, well, you can't have just a little bit of dementia. I mean, it's either you do or you don't. And I think sometimes when we go to the doctor and we have some symptoms, we're not being taken serious. And so it's our duty, that's what I want to advocate, is for us to really take serious when we have problems that are bothering us when it comes to our mental capacity or our memory or anything like that, because it could be something simple like a vitamin D deficiency or a vitamin B12, and the longer you don't take care of that, the more it gives you risk to develop a type of dementia.
Okay, now that is so important.
Yes, it's
That
very
is
important.
so important, because as you were saying it, my natural thought progress was the process was that's going to lead to dementia. But if you hadn't said that, I wouldn't have put that together, although it's quite blatant really. If you don't look after your mental health in certain ways, that's going to happen. But what are the symptoms that we should be looking out for that are perhaps kind of common in all the dementias?
Yeah, let me go through. I have like
Yeah.
a list. Now, this list you can get off of the Alzheimer's Association. It's free for everybody. But so like memory loss, which actually disrupts your everyday life. So like I had mentioned before, I believe that if you lose your keys, you can retrace your steps to find them. So it's typical that we do lose them from time to time. And most of the time, what I believe, the older we get, the more stored memories that we have. So our brain has to filter through those memories, which take a little bit longer. So that's normal, is slow memory, not completely losing it, not losing your memory. So sometimes forgetting our appointments, that's normal. But we end up remembering about it later. So that's what makes it normal, is when we just have completely no clue that we even made the appointment, and it's happened more than once or twice. I would start to be a little bit concerned about it. Let's see, challenging or solving problems. Now, what's typical with that is occasionally you can balancing a checkbook or something. You can't figure out how to, or you forgot how to do it for a moment or just a moment or whatever. But usually when you're struggling, if it's taking you longer to do what you normally do all the time, and it's taking you longer to complete that, that means you're having problems processing everything and trying to figure it out. And a lot of times people are actually noticing that they can't remember what to do next. And so it's taking them longer to really get there. So those are warning signs. Those are warning signs. So
What about when someone has the same conversation with you over and over again, and they can't remember that they've said it to you? They'll say, "Oh, I saw Auntie so-and-so yesterday," and they say, "Did I tell you?" And you'll say, "Yes." And then the next time they see you, maybe it could be 3 weeks later, because I'm saying this out of experience. 3 weeks later, they'll say, "Did I tell you Auntie so-and-so and so?" And I'll say, "Yes." And then it becomes not 3 weeks ago, they ask me, it's like yesterday. I'll say, "You told me that yesterday. It wouldn't be 3 weeks ago."
yeah, that's a repeating, yes.
Yes,
That's,
repeating the thing.
yeah. Those are symptoms too.
They're
yes.
symptoms, so just
Yes.
repeating
Yes.
whether they, okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately. So other things could be like difficulty completing a task, something that you normally do at home. You half do it and you don't complete it, and you may not even notice it at first yourself, but other people will notice this symptom a little bit more in others. When they're doing like the dishes, someone who's like a super neat freak and they do everything, and then they start noticing a few things. Oh, well, they left this out. Not big deal because you're not stressed over it. But then you notice down the week, slowly but gradually, they're still not doing it like they used to. So those are subtle little symptoms. I would pay attention to those.
At what age can all this start happening?
Oh my gosh, this can start, the biggest young average that I have been finding is in their 30s and 40s. So I've known someone as early as in their 20s having it. So it does not escape, and I really want to stress that there's something that we're doing somehow in our diets, our environment, something that's causing this. I believe years ago, when they were just calling it senile, it started back then. Whatever the changes we were doing in our lives back then were causing it, because only people who were in their older ages, like above 70, were developing it. And so they never lived the long life of having someone, let's say someone in their 60s who develops Alzheimer's. There's a long period. They can live 10 to 20 years with it. And my experience is really trying to help those stay in more of the moderate stage and try and slow it down at least to that until they find a cure.
Okay, well, I'm glad you said that, and that's another reason why you need to stay with us. See you soon.